Good Monday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, located just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. I'm joined, as I am every day, by Galen Unall from Life South, and he is brought to you every morning thanks to the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and JustShip.net. And I have to start off by saying, first off, good morning, Galen. And second off, when you're right, I guess you're right.
Well, good morning, Tom. And yes, I am.
The Atlanta Braves are. Oh no, that's not what we're talking about. The Boston Red Sox. Oh no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you said on this program in January that, and I scoffed at you and repeatedly showed you that you were way overboard and everything when you said by Memorial Day, which is still 2 weeks away, 1 week and a half away, something like that by Memorial Day, gas would be $4.50 a gallon. Well, it's $4.49 a gallon unless you don't pay for cash. Then it's $4.59 a gallon at most places in the Ocala metropolitan area. And you still got about a week to go till Memorial Day. So, Galen, you were correct.
Yeah, and this isn't something I wanted to be correct on, but I mean, you could see it like a freight train.
Here's my question, though, because you do some investing, and oil is one of the things you invest in. When gas prices went up to $4.30 in January, and this is when you made your statement that it would happen. Gas was about $1. Oil was about $1.30, $130 a barrel, $135 a barrel. Okay.
Right.
Oil is now at $109 a barrel and falling this morning. It's down $1 already. Yet gas prices keep going up. Usually oil down, gas prices down, because it's a speculative thing. We talk about speculation. What is wrong with this now with oil prices down, prices still skyrocket? They're more now than they were when oil was $135 a barrel.
It's two things from what I'm finding on research. So what people are doing with the oil prices right now, there's this belief that the government is controlling that price because they did that huge pull of all the Federal Reserves, right? And that, depending on which estimate, that's anywhere between 28 to 35 days. Like that's how many days of oil the Federal Reserve has. So some people believe it's much less than that, but I think it's between 28 and 35 days. So when they blasted the market with this oil, the pricing didn't drop the way they thought it would. It almost held steady. And I think that scared a lot of people. And so now what the people are looking at with the cost of oil is they believe that travel is going to be dramatically down because there's several impacts on the market right now. Right now, we're in a credit bubble. There have been more credit cards opened in the month of March than ever before in the history of America. Now, that's got to scare a lot of investors, right? Because we're in this, we've had the housing bubble. We know what that looked like. A lot of people feel right now we're in this credit bubble. And what happens when you open up a credit card? Usually your first payment isn't due for 30 to 45 days,
right?
Depending on what plan you got. And I think what's happening right now, you're seeing the car market is finally coming back to reality. The demand is being dramatically reduced and supply is starting to come up. There are businesses, major Fortune 500 companies that are starting to put hiring freezes into effect because they see this bubble coming. I think we're headed to a recession. And I think because of that, one of the impacts of hitting a recession is people buy less oil. And we are into that time where, your heating costs, your electricity costs are at a very low point. And I think that's why the barrel of oil is down. I also think there's a lot of speculation on gas, and that's why those two are in flux. And I do believe in June that the cost of gas will go back down. But they'll get through Memorial Day. and it'll be right about that 450 mark. And then right around election time, as it always does, it'll come back down into the 375, 365 mark. We're not going to get below $3 with this president. It's just never going to happen.
Well, now, speaking of this president, he addressed the gas issue and everything and said, look, it's not the Democratic Party's fault. It's the MAGA Party fault.
Yeah.
MAGA Party's fault. He's not even addressing the Republican Party now as Republican anymore. Now, all of a sudden, it's the MAGA Party. Once again, though, what's wrong with Make America Great? What's wrong with that?
Well, I think what he's doing is he's trying to vilify Trump.
He's trying to vilify every Republican by saying that MAGA's a bad thing.
But there is not a person on the planet who has not made their decision on Trump.
Right.
I don't, as of today, right? That may change if he actually gets nominated, right? But as of today, people know if they're going to vote for him in a primary or not. And I think everybody in their brain who follows politics knows, all right, well, if he runs against DeSantis, first of all, that election will be decided before they even get to Florida. It always is. Will he run? Well, will DeSantis run is a big question. And if DeSantis runs against the president, who would you vote for? Because those are the two obvious leaders in the clubhouse. But we got to get through the midterms, and right now I think that's what the Democrats are trying to do is vilify ultra MAGA, anybody related to him, because they know that if Trump wins some of these, the people, the candidates that he's endorsed, all that's going to do is fuel that Trump fire.
He's only lost one primary, the Nebraska primaries. Sure. He's like 50. Right. He's like 55-1 for people he's endorsed.
Yeah, and I think that's very scary to the Biden administration because I think everything that they tried to throw at him with the Russiagate, with that he was terrible for the environment, terrible for the economy, proved to be untrue. And I think they're very, very worried about him. And again, I think Biden has no answers. And every answer he does come up with turns out to be a complete and utter disgrace. So it's interesting, but again, I think my sons who are trying to learn how to invest, we had a long talk this weekend about what to do with our money and where to put it, and how you should handle a situation like this. Kind of unprecedented because gold is low. I don't know if you've looked at gold.
Yeah, gold's falling, Bitcoin's falling.
Well, Bitcoin is interesting, and what we decided to do, we're going to ride the dips on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And just buy when it gets to a certain point and sell it when it gets over, and just ride the dips.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue. I don't care what he tries to label the Republican Party. I don't care who he tries to connect to it. If inflation continues at 9% or higher, he's going to lose Democrats. They're going to vote against him in the midterms. They're going to vote against their own party in the midterms. Well, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. A no-show is a non-vote. A non-vote's a win for the Republicans.
And that's why he's trying to turn Trump into the villain that the Democrats turned him into. You're going to hear a lot about January 6th. A lot about January 6th. And you and I agree that was appalling and should have never been
January 6th, but that was January 6th a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now. January 6th hadn't had anything to do with inflation. January 6th hadn't had anything to do with making us where we're oil dependent again. That was decisions made by this president. They can keep talking about the idiots that stormed the Capitol and tried to stop an election from going through. They can talk about that till they're blue in the face. But that doesn't stop that their policies have created inflation that is at a high that hadn't been seen since the Carter administration. Gas prices that are $4.50 or better. If you're in California, you're almost $6 a gallon. Believe me, there's going to be a breaking point for those liberal Democrats out there eventually because everything is relatable to your wallet. And you say, we've always said the only way you make people listen is hit them in the wallet. Well, the Democratic
Yeah.
Party is hitting you in your wallet with a damn sledgehammer.
Well, and also all this remote at work, work from home, that's all going away. Everybody is like, that was a good test. It's not very effective. We aren't as productive. I can't control my people as well. So that work from home model is done for the most part, right? There'll always be jobs that you can do from home, but I think those days are over. And I think it was a failed experiment for a lot of businesses. So, again, I think it's going to be very, very interesting the next 6 months.
I don't see how they can spend.
I
don't see how they can spend 10% inflation because it'll get there. I don't see how they can spend a housing market that nobody can find any place affordable to live. I don't see how they can spend making us where we were an exporter of fuel to now we're an importer of fuel again, and our prices have skyrocketed from $2.15 a gallon to $4.50 a gallon in less than 18 months. There's a no sale on all of those.
But here's what can come out of this. Out of Carter, we got the greatest president of our generation. I think that's very, very difficult to say that he wasn't.
No, Ronald Reagan to me was the best president in my life.
That's right. And that's exactly what I'm saying. They have created a scenario for a Ronald Reagan-esque president to come in and straighten the ship. And that's interesting. I mean, did you see Jeff Bezos even came out against Biden and some of his ideas of the taxing to get rid of inflation?
Yeah.
When you lose your he's lost. This is remarkable. He's lost the two largest Democratic contributors with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, two of the top 5 richest people on the planet, and he's lost them because of his inflation. I think that's remarkable. Remarkable that now Elon Musk is on the right.
Yeah.
Is fascinating to me.
We got to take a break, but it's just I don't see any. They keep talking about how bad the MAGA party and how bad everything is. All I know
Ultra MAGA.
If I ask anybody, if you were honest, if you weren't, a diehard Democrat, that the hell with that, Trump's a horrible person, everybody that's associated with Trump is a horrible person, and they're just these bad racists and are going to be the end of the world. Except for those hardcore Democrats, I think if everybody answered honestly, are you better financially today than you were 2 years ago? The answer is a resounding hell no, not even close, and that's a problem for the Democratic Party. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this timeout. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. Joe Biden over the weekend was in Seattle at a fundraiser. Galen, from Life South joins us. He called the MAGA party, the Republican Party now is a toxic wasteland of MAGA supporters. It is a toxic party that will only destroy this country from the inside out. I mean, this rhetoric is starting to become hate speech, if you ask me.
Well, I don't believe in that, but I love the fact that he called him Ultra MAGA. I was like, oh, all right, he's a superhero now. And again, this is exactly, Trump loves this.
Oh, he does.
Trump loves this. And by the way,
Trump's not even campaigning. Joe Biden's doing it for him.
Well, and this is just throwing red meat to both parties. All Biden is trying to do is to get his base motivated, right? And at the same time, I think it motivates the Republican base as well. So again, we'll see. It's not like, I think Obama said it best. He said Biden's never been on the right side of history on anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm in no way a ardent, eyes closed, whatever Trump tells me to do supporter. In no way do I fit that mold. But I am a Republican. How dare you start trying to put me in this ultra far right wing, wherever you think all of us fit. All we're saying is that life in America sucks right now, and it's laid at your footsteps, Joe Biden, because you've been the guy and your administration's been in charge for over a year and a half now. Stop talking about what the guy behind you did. Start talking about how you failed at everything you've done. I mean, somebody sent me a meme today that just is hilarious. I'd like to take credit for it, but this sums up Joe Biden's administration in one meme. Make sure you buy your Mega Millions jackpot. Tomorrow's drawing is for a free tank of gas and some plywood.
Yeah. Well, the wood industry crashed. The housing market's going to go down dramatically.
Right.
But, yeah, again, if you cannot run on your policies and you have to run against the guy who you think's coming after you, and that's Donald Trump, and that's all they're doing. And again, I guess this cohesiveness that Biden was going to bring, I guess those days are over. And what we have for the next 6 months is you're going to have more of this, while the border is still wide open.
And formula shortages that we have, except at the border. There's plenty down there for an illegal immigrant if they need it.
That's not entirely true. That was a bit of a misnomer, but yeah.
Hey,
and
I don't
again,
see pallets of formula at Walmart. Walmart this weekend had shelves that were bare in Ocala. There wasn't pallets there, but they're down at even if it's 3 pallets, they're at the border when it could be in a Walmart somewhere.
That photo wasn't at the border. It's fine. I don't want to argue it. But I voted for Trump for once, and that was because it was him or Hillary. I am no Trump supporter. But, in that binary election, you have to choose one or the other. The third party's not going to win in our country.
No.
Not anytime soon unless we get a Ross Perot-type figure who's got charts.
Look, Ross Perot, where is somebody like Ross Perot right now? This is the best time for Ross Perot.
You want the truth?
He was way ahead of his time.
If Elon Musk ran for president, he would win.
100% he would. Right now.
He would win.
right now.
He would get every vote under the age of 25.
I don't know how good he'd
they
be,
would
but he'd
come
do it
out-
right now. Oh, they would come out and they would come out like they did for Obama, but even more.
But he can't because he's not a natural.
Well, I know he's not born here. And look, I'm
in
the
South
first.
Africa.
I'm the first to tell you. There's a reason the founding forefathers made sure that you had to be born here to run for president. They didn't want to be infiltrated. I get it. I understand.
Absolutely.
People say, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's an antiquated thing. We ought to change." No, we shouldn't.
I-
No, we shouldn't.
The forefathers are pretty bright. I mean, we out of the 330 million people in this country, we should be able to find one that's born here that run our country.
And
I don't think
that's my that's my issue. Is you're telling me in 2020, with all the quality people we have in this country, the best we could do was an incumbent 76-year-old and a guy who was suffering from some sort of incoherency in Joe Biden. The best we could do was Trump and Biden in 2020. That's the best we could do.
Yeah, I mean, the process, you have to survive.
And it has nothing to do with their
the
politics.
Democratic Party is
Just that their age should be called into question.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know that sounds like ageism. Well, if it sounds like ageism, that's because it is.
Well, who else in both parties, who else do you think is even like in the sidelines other than DeSantis?
See,
somebody will emerge.
I know a guy, but he's never going to run
when
for.
it starts.
He's never going to run for president. But I know a guy.
I'm not running.
No.
So.
I know a guy, but he would never run for president. I'm telling you, even though the Democratic Party's trying to kill him, trying to destroy his career, and he's one of them, Joe Manchin would get a lot of people from the center to vote for him. A lot of people.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
A lot of people.
He's a principled guy.
He's the Sam Nunn. He's the Sam Nunn of the 21st century.
Sure, I think that's a fair point. And he doesn't take the bait, and he doesn't.
No, he doesn't take the bait. And they're
and-
trying. The Democratic Party is trying to destroy him. When you hear
Yeah.
all the late night people and all the talk show people and all they can tell you is how terrible Joe Manchin is. One of their own. They eat their. So the Democratic Party, if you don't do what they say, they try to eat you. And Joe Manchin hadn't bought into it. He goes, look, I didn't vote against Roe versus Wade. I voted against you expanding Roe versus Wade, which is exactly what they were trying to do. I think Joe Manchin's a man of character, and I think that he would do well if he threw his name in the hat. I don't think he's going to do it, though.
I don't think he wouldn't get through the primary, though.
No, the Democrats would he'd have to run as an independent or switch parties. He would not be able to do it as a Democrat. They wouldn't even give him any money.
I don't know if I'd vote for Manchin because he doesn't believe it's one of my core beliefs.
Right, I understand that.
I don't know in the current political realm.
No, he'd have to run as an independent.
Person in the middle.
He'd have to run as an independent.
If somebody who's in a party and they cannot run as a centrist, you can't.
And yet
65%
65% of the country are centrist.
But that's not who gets you to that final ticket.
I know. That is the issue. We got to take a break. We'll be right back at this timeout.
Fun issue.
You're listening to Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
The Ocala International Airport. This is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Are looking into the history of the suspect accused of shooting and killing 10 people inside a Buffalo grocery store over the weekend. The FBI says Peyton Gendron wrote a lengthy manifesto online and previously threatened to shoot up a high school in New York about a year ago. Former FBI Special Agent Bill Daley says the investigation is just beginning.
How this individual was so radically motivated, this evil ideology. Who else would have maybe known about his planning? Are there other people who've kind of incited him to do so, or groups? I think it's very important that they kind of get that ahead of this investigation.
The price of gas is soaring toward $4.50 a gallon. AAA reporting the national average price for regular jumping over the weekend to $4.48 a gallon. This is USA Radio News.
In the 1800s, there were 160 spas set up in Europe to dispense fresh liquid whey. The sick would recover their health and the aged would become rejuvenated. There's only one whey protein powder on the market that can generate and surpass the results seen in the whey spas in Europe. But first, let me tell you the story of 90-year-old Mary, who was semi-bedridden and in hospice care. Mary had been consuming only a pea protein and pasteurized milk drink. Then Mary was put on to Green Meadow Whey mixed with raw milk. She was given 2 to 3 whey drinks per day. On the very first day, Mary was up and came into the kitchen and made chicken soup. She was on her feet for many hours. 3 days later, Mary had gained 2.5 pounds of healthy weight. Green Meadow Whey is health-giving to both young and old. Green Meadow Whey is guaranteed to make you feel better, stronger, reduce your inflammation, and eliminate virtually all toxins from your body without feeling sick. To order, go to bestwayprotein.net, that's bestwayprotein.net, or call 888-988-3325, that's 888-988-3325.
Sale going on the entire month of May. Beautiful two-piece sectional starting as low as $19 per month. Sofas for as little as $10 per month. Kick back in a new recliner for as little as $11 per month. Plus, you can save up to $700 off the Ashley Reeling Queen Bed and Dresser Mirror Set and save 25% off all outdoor furniture. Mattresses starting at only $3.99. See it, buy it, take it home. It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, Ocala.
How does Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery celebrate 70 years? Well, you've got to see for yourself to believe it. They're pulling out all the stops with 5.5 acres of never-before super values. Check out the ad. They emphasize sevens as is 70 years. Your favorites like Juniper, $7. Podocarpus, $7. African Iris, 2 for $7. Gerber Daisy, 2 for $7. And wow, check out the BOGOs. Buy one, get one free. Butterfly bush, porterweed, hibiscus, agapanthus, salvia, Mexican firebush, many more, all on BOGO for Bob Wine's Gala's 70th anniversary celebration. Folks, that's just a sample of the savings. Check the ad for more at bobwinescamelliagardens.net. But be there early for the best selection. Bob Wine's Camellia Garden, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3, keeping you in bloom for 70 years.
Bumpin' Brave and Bold, the Orlando International Fringe Theater Festival is back May 17th through the 30th with over 200 shows. This unique cultural experience is held at Lock Haven Park. 2022 brings new and exciting features to the Orlando Fringe. You don't want to miss out. Tickets are available at orlandofringe.org. Again, May 17th through the 30th is the 31st Orlando Fringe, and it's sure to be the best yet. Get your tickets at orlandofringe.org.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Now there's an exciting new treatment using natural biologics, regenerative solutions that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints. Hey folks, it's Tom Schmitz, and I'm talking about QC Kinetics, now open here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical regeneration, highly concentrated natural biologics that can give you lasting relief. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulder, hips, and you're tired of steroids, tired of pain meds, and talk of major surgery, this is the treatment you've been hoping for. Call the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. Learn about how natural biologics can be used to get you moving again pain-free. Listen, don't let them keep giving you steroids. Don't let them tell you your surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. They have offices now in Ocala and the Villages. Call 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. Galen Unall from Life South joins us as he does every day as he spends his time in his vehicle, at $4.59 a gallon. So we want to point that out that, hey, hopefully it's a company car.
Well, it is. Yeah, it is.
So you can write some of that gas off. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
Here's the problem with the gas prices is the gas prices change almost minute by minute. Like crude right now, crude oil down $1.25, Brent crude down $1.25. But the gas prices, when you do Gas Buddy, and they update them as 8 minutes ago, the cheapest price according to Gas Buddy 8 minutes ago in Ocala, 3873 Southwest College Road at the Circle K. It's $4.15 a gallon. The Marathon, $4.19 a gallon on U.S. Highway 301. That was 11 minutes ago. The Sunoco, it was at $4.39, but now it's been updated as of 9 minutes ago. The Sunoco on 963 East Silver Springs Boulevard, $4.51.
Oh, wow.
It went up 12 cents in the last, it was updated 3 hours ago. Now it updates 11 minutes ago, and it's went up 12 cents. And, it's, as the people get there, as the morning shift gets there and the general manager of the stores get there, gas prices seem to be changing minute by minute on Gas Buddy. So, one of the top 10 places is still in the top 10, but at $4.51 a gallon. And you said you drove by the Sunoco on 40 as it went up.
Yeah, it went from like $4.39 to $4.49 while I was sitting at the light.
That's at West Silver Springs Boulevard.
Right. It's not good.
You're sitting at the light and you see it change. And that, by the way, most of those are like cash prices, and the Circle K ones are if you use Easy Pay, their Easy Pay option and everything.
Sure.
If you don't use Easy Pay, it's $4.39, $4.49 a gallon.
Not good. Not good, Tom.
It is not good. But it doesn't look like America's that concerned about it. And I'll tell you why. Everybody complains. Everybody talks about it. Yet AAA says, their information says, this will be the busiest Memorial Day since 2017. I don't know how they calculate that. I don't know what factors they use. But even with gas prices out of control, this Memorial Day should be the busiest since 2017, the busiest in 5 years.
But I think it's because of everything that we've gone through. One, airfare and traveling by air is far worse. I think a lot of people are just like, well, I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? At the beach this weekend, it was packed.
Yeah.
Every restaurant we went to in New Smyrna was absolutely packed. And by the way, if you haven't been to the Garlic in New Smyrna, it's the best restaurant I've eaten at. Maybe
I like the name already. The name's got you had me at the Garlic.
Oh, I'll put it this: they opened at 4:00. I know you didn't want to talk, but I find this fascinating. They opened at 4:00. By 4:45, there is a 2-hour wait for a table.
Wow!
And this place is not small. They and we got there at 4:45, and I'm like, this is awful early. My wife's like, trust me, according to online. We didn't sit down until 5:30.
Wow.
And there's probably 350 tables. And then the outside where there's like a bar and everything. It's kind of
hold on. 350 tables or chairs?
Yeah. Tables.
That's the biggest restaurant I've ever seen in my life.
I'm not good at that. Let me put it. It's bigger than any restaurant in Ocala. I'll put it that way. It's like 3 times bigger than Ivy House. That help?
Okay, the Ivy House sits about 130, 140. So yeah. So you're talking about like the crazy cucumber here in town has a complete capacity of 378 people.
All right. So let's just say somewhere around 700 people.
So okay, so a very big restaurant.
Very big. And then outside, because everybody knows the wait is so long, they have this garden area where you can get drinks and they play live music.
Oh yeah.
And so it's all part of the experience. And I was like, is it always like this, or like every single day of the week that they are open?
Every single day.
There's a line. There's a line at 4:00.
Wow. So that's what I'm saying.
It was.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. I asked a friend of mine who's an avid, who bought a big boat. He's got a 31-footer, and he goes out, him and his wife, they'll take 6 or 8 friends of theirs, and they go out, and I go, with gas prices and all the way they are, you're probably not taking the boat out as much this year. He says, hadn't missed a weekend.
Well, and that's just, I think everything that we're talking about, everything in the news, I think it's increasing. I think we're seeing that with things that are going on in the world. I think personal mental health is probably at a very, not the all-time low, but a very low point, because people feel like they're getting attacked from every direction.
From every direction.
No matter what you do, you're a racist, or you don't love babies, or you're a killer.
Okay, I don't love
everybody
babies.
is just everybody is calling each other names, right? And I think that's really adding into the stress. And so you've got to find that escape.
Everybody is calling everybody names. And, welcome to my life for my whole life. There you go. People have been calling me names.
Might as well.
People have been calling me names my whole life. Big neck, no neck, the animal. I got all kind of names for me. Shampoo. My coach in college called me Shampoo because I was head and shoulders. I got them, pal. I know all of them.
Trust me, I can beat you on names.
Oh, I promise you. I would call you Driver. I would call you Driver.
I was a mixed race kid. I was the only Indian that people had ever met.
With no athletic ability, but you knew more about sports than anybody.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. My name was Galen. Trust me, there is
Galen.
Name I haven't.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Remember,
it's not a name I've never been called.
Remember, Schmitz is a word that rhymes with Schmitz, just add an M. Okay, so trust me.
Yeah.
I've heard.
And again, but I think that's all part of it, though.
Yeah, everybody. But you're right. Everybody wants to label people down there. And now we have what happened over the weekend in Buffalo, where a guy goes into a supermarket, a predominantly black attended supermarket in Buffalo, opens fire, kills 10, wounds 3 more. Then he turns this, the cops talk him into putting his weapon down. Then his manifesto comes out. When you read this manifesto, I read it this morning. When you read this,
boy.
He had planned. He had scoped out the right grocery store that he thought would have the most blacks in it at the time. And he said, I become a radicalized racist from what's happening in the world and the internet and reading during the pandemic and everything. And, he just wrote this hate-filled manifesto. And I don't even know where to go with that, with that situation. That just is, I don't even know where to start. This guy is to blame, of course. But with his manifesto, he points out a whole lot of different places that he became a racist from. He said, I wasn't born a racist. I developed that hatred over reading and being unchecked by my parents and everything. I mean, it's scary that what he wrote in his manifesto, that could be the reality for a lot of people.
Well, and again, what happens when you get isolated, Tom? Right? When you get isolated because of COVID.
Ask Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Go out.
Yeah.
Right. You become inwardly focused, and you're at some point he's like, oh, this is interesting. Let me look more into it. He delved deeper and deeper, and then all he did was find information that fed into his mental illness, and that's what happened. Again, when you break down the fibers of society, whether that's our community, whether it's our churches, whether it's our schools, whether it's our businesses, our workforce, when you start breaking those down and you isolate people, you're going to get this kind of stuff. You just talk.
We're going to talk later in the show about what happened in Buffalo, but we're going to do it from the standpoint of a word you're going to hear, a phrase you're going to hear coming up a lot coming up soon, And, we've heard a lot about critical race theory, right? That was a talking point the Republicans used and everything. This incident that happened this weekend in Buffalo, you're going to hear this phrase, great replacement theory. You're going to hear that. That may replace MAGA in the Democrats' mouth coming out of this shooting in Buffalo. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. But it's just, it just is what you said. It shows the deepening chasms that happen when you sit around for 2 years. Some of these people had nothing to do, so they turn to all-knowing internet, and it seemed to have come into a destructive conclusion for this young man yesterday in Buffalo. Thoughts and prayers go out to all the people in Buffalo. That was and by the way, people go, "Oh, you're racist in the South." Last time I checked, Buffalo had nothing to do with the South. Last time I checked. Racism exists everywhere, not just in the South.
And then in another place, I forgot where, but you had a guy who went into a church, and thankfully the church members hog-tied the guy. Wherever you see it, there's mental illnesses there, and it's all been exacerbated by our separation.
100%.
We've just lost that. And apparently the guy in Buffalo, he had made a threat at a school.
A year and a half ago, yes.
We're going to need to act on this. And he had an illegal weapon. I don't blame the gun. But again, all of these things are just coming to a head because of the policies that were put in place 2 years ago.
So I don't know if you saw this. We're going to switch subjects and change it to sports. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. But the greatest compiler in baseball history, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Just my opinion.
That's interesting.
He now can add pitching to his credits, although he gave up 2 home runs.
Oh, I saw that.
He gave up 2 home runs.
I saw that.
Albert Pujols, 22 years in the league, about 5 years longer than he should have played. Gives up 2 home runs, but they did blow the Giants out 15-6. But that's the first time he's pitched, so now he can put pitcher on his resume too. You want to talk about a compiler. Can we both agree Albert Pujols is the great compiler or one of the best compilers to ever great? There's no reason he should be in the league still, playing in the National League at 22 years old. I mean, after 22 seasons where he's playing first base. It shouldn't happen.
Oh, I think the beginning of his career, he was arguably
the best player in the game. Arguably one of the 2 or 3 best players in the game.
You're not a compiler if you've won the Rookie of the Year and if you've won 3 MVPs. You've come in the top 5, 6 times? Outside of the 3 he won for 10 years, he was arguably the best player in baseball.
But that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I agree with you. If his career was 14 years, if his career was 14, 15 years, you would be spot on. He's going on his 22nd year, and when asked about
that's fair.
When you ask about a 23rd, he goes, "I'm going to play as long as my body allows me."
I completely respect what you're saying, and maybe let's put it this way: he's moving closer to compiler every single day. No doubt about that.
He's become where the conversation about compiler can be defended.
Correct. Agreed.
And it was
100%
the first 12, 13 years of his career. The only thing you say bad about the guy is why would California spend that much money on him? But because you thought he'd been in St. Louis so long, you knew he was on the downside of his career, or you thought he was. But he's been away from that first time he was with St. Louis. He's been away from that first time with St. Louis longer than he's been in the league, longer than he was in St. Louis.
Agreed. God, you make a good point.
I'm just saying.
That's 1 in a row for you.
And by the way, this was a guy who basically came unscathed through the steroid era when he was as jacked as anybody. But here's what they always said. Yeah, but he came through the minors already jacked. He didn't do anything when he got into the major leagues.
That's true.
He was already huge. Well, okay, he was already huge, but Was he huge because he had medicine or not? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
That's fair.
But he never got brushed for that.
Yeah.
He never. Even David Ortiz, they tried to brush him with some steroid stuff every now and then. And I'm like, you don't have a hot dog belly like that.
Failed the test.
Right, I know he did. I know, but he still got a hot dog belly. Okay, I understand that.
I'm with you.
But the people they said that they didn't have proof of steroids, that never passed the test or anything, failed the test. They would paint, but not Albert Pujols. He never got touched with it. Frank Thomas. They said Frank Thomas was was there a controversy of him being on steroids? I go, he played tight end in the SEC. He was a big dude. Yeah, but he played baseball. Yeah. Was there steroids? But Albert Pujols never got that brush. Never once got that brush.
That's fair.
So, but last night he got brushed because they brushed his baseball a long way out of the park last night.
Funny. Pretty funny.
They brushed it pretty good.
Pretty funny.
So the Tampa Bay Lightning come back in Game 7, win 2-1 to advance to the second round. You would have thought they had won the Stanley Cup the way fans reacted.
Well, I think. By the way, this weekend for Game 7s was absolutely incredible. I watched the end of the Rangers game. The last 10 minutes of that game were so exciting. Rangers pull it off in overtime. The Celtics win a Game 7. The Mavs absolutely destroyed the Suns in Game 7. And again, sports is just so good during playoff season.
TV lives for Game 7. TV lives for Game 7.
The Red Sox suck. We're not going to talk about them. God, they're terrible.
Does TV not live for Game 7? So that is Game 7 is designed perfectly for TV. The drama and everything. It's perfectly for TV.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And by the way, none of these were games where the championship trophy was being awarded. And yet the drama was amazing.
It was incredible. I enjoyed the heck out of it. So there was a lot to enjoy.
How good was it for CBS and for golf in general and for the Byron Nelson that even though he didn't win it, that Dallas, Texas own, the guy who grew up playing there was right in the mix all the way through the 18th hole on the final day, Jordan Spieth.
Certainly helped, didn't it?
It really did. Because what was once a grand tournament was it felt like to me this weekend the Byron Nelson Classic was kind of an afterthought. With so much more that was going on with the Game 7s in hockey and the Game 7s in basketball, and you had so much going on sports-wise that it was almost like the Byron Nelson, except for the diehard golf fan, the Byron Nelson is just not much different than the John Deere Classic. And we know that's not right. We know that's not right. The Byron Nelson's a very big golf tournament to the golfers out there playing it. But it felt like this weekend it was, the Byron Nelson's on. Okay, maybe.
Nobody cared. I didn't care.
And you've in the past cared about the Byron Nelson.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I was like, okay, I've got to watch 3 other Game 7s this weekend. And when you watch golf, you have to invest. It's not like you can tune in and tune out. If you're going to really enjoy it, you have to lock in. I just didn't feel like locking in.
And they were making birdies everywhere this weekend. The score was ridiculous. The score, when you're almost at 30 under, 31 under, it's ridiculous. The cut line in this tournament was -6.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
That has a John Deere feel to it.
Well, and I don't think anybody's really going to talk much about golf for another a month, right? Because
the PGA Championships next week. You don't think anybody's going to talk about the PGA Championship next week?
Oh, gosh. I forgot they moved it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess I'll watch that.
Yeah, it's next week, the PGA Championship. And it's back in Tulsa, where Tiger 15 years ago crushed the field. Or at least that's how CBS is playing the commercials.
Sure. They want Tiger to be great. I think we all do. I don't have a problem with that.
Just like we wanted, I remember, and you're old enough to remember too, just like in the mid-'80s, we really wanted Jack at 47, 40. After he won the Masters in 86, we really wanted him at 48, 49, 50, 51 to still be Jack Nicklaus. But he wasn't.
Sure.
We still want Tiger to be Tiger. And there's going to be flashes of Tiger, just like there was flashes of Jack. But he'll never be the Tiger Woods we want him to be.
Have you seen the 30 for 30 on ESPN Plus on John Daly?
Yes. Yeah.
Hit it hard?
Yeah.
I find it a little bit interesting. There was, I lived through his, while he was alive, so it wasn't as I guess it wasn't as enlightening as it could have been.
Wow, who was alive?
Still a fascinating. Well, I was alive, and he was I was in the sports media.
He's still alive.
I know. What I meant is sometimes you watch those 30 for 30s, and it's 50 years ago, and you really learn something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I learned anything remarkable about John
the thing
Daly,
the thing that people talked about the most was John Daly talking about how, and I knew this story. You knew this story. We were in the media and everything. He goes, I was going out drinking one night, and Tiger was on the driving range. And I went over and said, Tiger, come on, let's go drink. And he goes, nah, I got to practice. You practice all the time. Come drink with me. And he goes, John, if I had your talent, I could go out and drink with you. But I don't, so I have to stay here and practice. And then the next day, of course, they were paired together, and Daly beat him by 4 strokes. Daly shot 63,
Sure.
Tiger shot 67. And Daly had been out drinking all night, was hungover when he got to the tee box. And Tiger had told him, if I had your talent, I wouldn't have to practice the way I do. I'd go out drinking with you. So that tells you arguably the greatest player or second greatest player in the history of the game thought that John Daly at his best was more talented than he was.
Well, and again, I think you look at the British Open that he won, and how he came back from it. And that was a story I had kind of forgotten, and they went through it. It's just absolutely incredible how he just dominated that golf course.
Well, Crooked Stick's still the best John Daly story ever, though.
Oh, sure.
What was he? Only like the 6th alternate or something, and he just whips the field.
He wins the PGA.
Wins the PGA championship. Just spanked everybody
Yeah.
at Crooked Stick, a golf course that, by the way, not the easiest golf course.
No, and he shouldn't have. He showed up, drove all night to play.
Right. The only other story in my lifetime that I think is close to the equivalent is an unseeded Boris Becker winning Wimbledon.
That was that's fair.
Because nobody saw a 17-year-old German kid that nobody knew who the hell he was winning Wimbledon, and yet he won it and then backed it up the very next year by winning it again.
Yeah, 1985.
Yeah.
He played in such a style.
Yeah.
He changed the game.
He did.
Because of his power.
He did.
He brought power to
Well,
the
that's what
game.
Daly did. Daly changed the game.
Sure.
Even though there had been power
Sure.
hitters, there was no grip it and rip it till John Daly. There was none of that.
But yeah, that's you know what? That's a pretty fair
analogy.
Both have really struggled
afterwards. Of course they did. Hey, Galen.
Becker still owes taxes.
Speaking of struggling, I know we're struggling to get the blood levels to where they need to be. So tell us where the Bloodmobile is.
Today we're going to be out at Summer Glen, so check us out there. But as always, we're right on the boulevard, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Check us out at lifesouth.org or call us 622-3544.
Galen, Life South. Galen, thanks so much for being here this morning. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, all.
We'll be right back after this timeout on WOCA, The Source.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
It was a weekend of shootings across the United States, the worst in Buffalo, New York, where authorities say an 18-year-old is accused of killing 10 people at a supermarket. Deadly shootings were also reported at a Southern California church, a flea market in Houston, and across St. Louis, where 5 people were killed and 8 others were wounded in a string of shootings. McDonald's is going to sell its business in Russia 2 months after suspending operations over the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The fast food giant citing the humanitarian crisis caused by the war in Ukraine and said this morning that continued ownership in Russia is no longer tenable or consistent with McDonald's values. A celebration of life event at Nashville's Ryman Auditorium remembered country music legend Naomi Judd Sunday night. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky,